I assumed her frequent blushing was just another one of those inexplicable teenage phases, a product of hormones, maybe, or self-consciousness. It wasn't just her cheeks that turned red, though. I started to notice it more and more, her neck, her arms, even the tops of her shoulders. Sometimes, after her shower, her skin would be so flushed it looked almost painful. I'd ask her if she was okay, and she'd always wave me off with a shrug or a nervous laugh. "It's nothing, Mum," she'd say, pulling her bathrobe tighter around herself. "I just like my showers really hot." Still, the redness seemed odd, more intense than it should have been. I googled things like red skin after shower and teenage skin sensitivity, but nothing that came up seemed particularly alarming. I convinced myself that it was normal. Teenagers go through weird body changes all the time. Chloe's always been a bit sensitive to heat, I rationalized. Maybe she's just got delicate skin. But the nagging feeling wouldn't go away. One evening, after Chloe had gone to bed, I mentioned it to David on one of our routine check-in calls. We've maintained a decent co-parenting relationship despite the divorce, and I felt like I needed another perspective, even if he wasn't around Chloe as much as I was. "Does Chloe ever look flushed when she's with you?" I asked, keeping my voice casual, though the concern was clear in my tone. "Flushed?" David echoed, confused. "You mean like after sports or something?" "No, more like after she takes a shower," I clarified. "Her skin gets really red. I've noticed it a lot lately, and I don't know if it's something I should be worried about." David paused for a moment before responding. "I don't think I've noticed that, but I don't see her right after her shower when she's with me. Maybe she just takes long, hot showers like you said." "I don't know," I replied, feeling that familiar twinge of doubt. "It just doesn't seem right." David sighed. "If you're really concerned, why not take her to see a doctor? It's probably nothing, but it couldn't hurt to get it checked out." That idea had been lurking in the back of my mind for a while, but I'd hesitated to act on it. Part of me was afraid of what a doctor might say, afraid that something as innocent as flushed skin might be a sign of something more serious. But David was right. I needed answers, even if it was just to put my mind at ease. The following week, I made an appointment with Dr. Price, our family doctor. Dr. Price had been our physician for years, ever since Chloe was a toddler. He was kind, gentle, and had a way of making even the most nervous patients feel at ease. I trusted him, and I hoped he would have a simple explanation for Chloe's persistent redness. The day of the appointment, Chloe was quiet in the car, fidgeting with the strap of her seatbelt as we drove to the clinic. I could tell she was nervous, but I reassured her that it was just a quick checkup, nothing serious. "It's probably just dry skin or something," I said, trying to keep the mood light. "Maybe you need to use more moisturizer." Chloe didn't say much, just nodded, her face tight with worry. We arrived at the clinic, and after a short wait in the sterile, too bright waiting room, Dr. Price called us in. He greeted us warmly, asked how we'd been, and then got down to business. "So, what seems to be the problem?" Dr. Price asked, glancing at me and then at Chloe. I explained what I had noticed, the persistent blushing, the redness after her showers, the fact that it seemed to be getting worse. Chloe sat quietly beside me, her cheeks already pink with embarrassment. Dr. Price nodded thoughtfully. "Why don't we take a look?" Chloe hesitated for a moment before slowly shrugging off her sweatshirt. I could see the redness creeping up her neck and across her shoulders, even though she hadn't just stepped out of a shower. Dr. Price examined her carefully, his brow furrowing as he looked at her skin. "Does it itch?" he asked. Chloe shook her head. "No, not really." "Does it feel hot or painful?" "Sometimes it feels hot, but it doesn't really hurt," she replied softly. Dr. Price nodded again, then turned to me. "Has this been happening for a long time?" "A few months," I answered. "At first, I thought it was just from the hot water, but it's gotten more noticeable lately." He didn't say anything for a moment, just stood there deep in thought before finally turning back to Chloe. "I'd like to run a few tests, just to rule some things out. It's probably nothing serious, but I'd like to be thorough." My heart sank at the word tests. That's never something a parent wants to hear, even if the doctor is just being cautious. Chloe's eyes widened, and I could see the fear in her. You can click on share more to see if there is a part 2.